What's going on, Warrior Gang? Welcome back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. I hope you get something out of this channel, out of this video. Hope you guys enjoy. I know you will, because we're doing a paint video today, airbrushing crankbaits, alright? Judging from the view counts, you guys really like this kind of video, and I should be doing a lot more of them, so we're going to focus on that moving into the future. Showing you guys different paint schemes, because I've developed quite a few over the past year and a half of doing this, and I really do this because I just enjoy it. It's become a side passion of mine. It's like an auxiliary to fishing, and it fits so well because painting your own custom schemes gives you like greater satisfaction when you catch fish. It's just better catching it on your own stuff. So I'm here today to share with you guys a very universal color that I think a lot of anglers around the country are going to be able to utilize. And if you guys don't know how to paint it or have a different style, then you'll learn my style for this same color. Blueback Herring. You guys, if you paint, you're familiar with it. If you fish, you're familiar with it. A lot of companies paint this color for crankbaits, and we're going to do my version of it today. So tune in, enjoy. Thank you guys for joining me today. Let's go. Alright, so we've got our two blanks sitting right here ready to get sauced up. First step in applying the sauce is make sure your blank is ready to go, okay? If you're buying top-notch, high-quality blanks, you're not going to have to worry about any pre-work. I buy on the cheaper side, so sometimes I have to sand a little bit or buff it out, any little imperfections. And then I'll run a little bit of denatured alcohol over the bait just to clear off any impurities. And then we're ready to start with that first base opaque white coat. So we'll do that right now and get started. Alright, so these guys are ready to get sanded. I've got a very low grit sanding block. Super smooth, it's not very rough at all. You just want it so that it gets any surface imperfections out, which there aren't many of, so we don't have to go too hard with this. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's adequate and ready to be painted. Alright, so now we're done sanding. That's about what you want, you know, just so it looks cloudy. You don't want to scratch it up or rough it up at all. You just want to smooth that surface out, essentially buff it out. And now that thing is cloudy, it's kind of an opaque, and we're going to apply that denatured alcohol, just a few drops. That wasn't very lightly. Dry it off, and then I'll use a heat gun to really dry it. But now your paint should apply perfectly. Now, I've probably said this in previous videos, but this is an essential when painting, alright? And this is why. You can spray paint on the back of a latex or rubber glove, alright? And then you're going to be able to see immediately the moisture content in your paint. And that's very important when spraying because you don't want to overspray and get runs, and you don't want to underspray and clog your gun. So, simple trick. Also protects the hands because, you know, why get paint all over them if you don't have to? I mean, to each his own. I also forgot to mention before we get painting, you're going to need to apply tape to the bill so you don't get all messy unless you're an expert. You don't have to be a hero. You know, you can just use some tape. Alright, now we've got the white, the right consistency. We can start out. This is going to be the base coat, obviously, and you've got to apply this really well because a good amount of this body is going to remain white. So make sure your strokes are even, your paint is mixed thoroughly. You know, go slow and steady. Alright, that just about does it. You can see we've got a nice opaque white top coat, and we're going to dry that off with a heat gun. Put it on low, and I just blast it for a few seconds. Alright, so the first step is complete. We've got that first opaque white base coat on there, and just to show you guys what's coming up, we've got 4 colors total in this color scheme, so it's very simple and straightforward, so it should be a quick one. We're going to use opaque black for the speckling later on. We're going to use a pearl gold for some of the shadowing on the muzzle and on the back, and then a silver pearl for some of the accents along the sides of the body. And then on the top or the back of this bait, we're going to be using mainly a lake blue opaque color, and that's going to be the next step in this process, so let's get to it. Alright, next step is, as I said, the lake blue opaque. And we don't want to run this too low on the bait. We want to keep it more on the higher shoulders. So that's going to be my goal here. Alright, and that right there is perfect. That's where I want to end. I want that blue to subtly kind of like mix into the white, and we're going to blend that in later with a silver pearl. But that's the start of it, and we're just going to apply this same thing to the other side real quick. Woo! Right below the eye. Right below the eye. Perfect. So our lake blue top coat is almost complete. Just going to fill it in a little bit there on those light spots. And there you go. Top coat of blue complete. So I did forget to mention one color that we're going to add as sort of an accent to this lake blue opaque back. That is a blue pearl color, and we're going to run that right over the back. Real subtle, real light. It's just going to make that blue really pop and glisten. Yeah, I said lightly, but I lied. That was a pretty heavy coat, but it kind of darkens it up a little bit, but also makes it gleam because of the pearl. Alright, so the next step in this process is to add this pearl silver. This is really an important step in this color. Sorry about that compressor, by the way. That thing goes off way too often. It's real cheap. Anyway, pearl silver is really going to make everything kind of glow, and this is an essential color in this scheme, so let's apply that. Alright, so the silver is just going to go pretty much along this side. So that's going to be the blending factor between the lake blue and the opaque white. This pearl is going to really mesh it in. You'll see in a sec. Same thing on the other side. And it kind of makes it gleam on the sides a little bit as well. Make sure you're drying after each coat. Alright, I probably should have done this a while back. Got the helping hands. We're going to apply a little bit more pearl silver. I applied it to the sides. Now we're going to give a light dusting to the top. Alright, so we've got the main steps complete. Let's zoom in here and show you the end result on the lake blue over that opaque white, and then a pearl silver accent on the back. Give you an overall view of the bait. Hopefully this helps. You can see it's gleaming on the sides. So believe it or not, we are almost done with this. I'm just going to clean the gun out from this pearl silver. We're going to get pearl gold in there. Alright, so now we're going to move on and put that pearl gold around the muzzle here. And then a very light dust on the top. Even lighter than that silver, if I can help myself. Sometimes I go a little nuts with these pearls. My main area of focus with this pearl gold is the muzzle, especially up at the front. It just gives it a lot of flash coming through the water, and when you deflect, I find that gold around the muzzle gets them to commit a little bit more than the baits that I don't put this gold on there. So just from my experience, you know, we all have our different styles in painting, and this is just how I like to do my blueback. So dry it off. I'm going to get that real light back coat. You get the idea now, right? The muzzle must be golden. Got a little bit of gold accent on the back, but predominantly silver pearl. Alright, so this next step with the black, it's an opaque black that I've got in the gun. And you're going to turn your pressure down extremely low. So I'll turn it to like 5 PSI. So once I have that PSI down, I'm going to test it on the rubber glove. And my goal is to have just black splatter. So I'm going to turn it down even lower. I want those droplets a little bit bigger. Actually, that's alright. Let's try that. So we're going to take this bait and we're going to turn it around on the white underbelly. You're just going to splatter it. Just like that. And this step is mainly on the belly, but we're also going to apply it on the back just as another accent. And you don't have to do too much with this. You just want your coat to be nice and even around the whole body. You're basically just going to tap the trigger to get this effect, and on a really low PSI, like I said. And that's the secret to splatter. Pretty simple. A really nice add to this bait. Really makes it look good. Makes it look more natural, almost. Alright, so let's give you guys a better look at that step as well. You can see the black splatter pattern all over it. And we just applied that to the back as well. I mean, all over this bait. And it really blends everything together. And we've got one final step, which is going to be a black shad dot on the side. That's also a black opaque paint. We're going to use this stencil. I found this at Michael's, but it's just a flimsy metal thing. It doesn't really scratch the baits unless you're rough, so just be easy with it. Before you do this, it's very important that your dots are uniform. I don't really like when they're off-centered. So I'll take a Sharpie and I'll just measure and mark on each side so that I know where to place that stencil so that it's even. By the eye. And then on the other side I'll do the same thing. Alright, so we're going to take that stencil, place our mark right in the middle. Alright, we're on there. Let's go. And the key with this is light. Go light. Do not overspray or you will have a messed up design. There's one, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Perfect! And we'll give you a better look at that as well. It all comes together. Alright guys, and that is really all there is to it. So I'll run you real quick through the steps we took to make this bait. It's a really beautiful, like I said, universal color. At the end of this bait, you know, you guys have the option to do really whatever you want. You can make black stencil markings along the back. You can make a little silver or gold addition to that black shad dot on the side to make it pop a little bit. There's a wide variety of different little details I'll put on these to make them pop even more and just to make them unique. So on the outro of this video, I'll run footage of a few different variations of this blueback herring that I've made in the past. And if you guys like any of those, you can let me know in the comments. And visit waterwarriorfishing.com for more of this. Thank you all for joining me today. Hopefully you learned something about a really awesome color that is very effective on a wide variety of different waterways. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Water Warrior Fishing. See you on the next one.